Starting with the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful, all praise be to Him who is the King of kings and Lord of lords. May all the blessings and bounties be on the holy soul of Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Listeners, viewers, friends and fellows, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today's talk is exclusively going to be about social work and for social workers, and that is the concept of voluntary social work. In our social work education setting, both on college as well as university level, exclusively in the context of subcontinent India and Pakistan and some surrounding areas, we learn that there are two types of social work. One is professional social work, other is voluntary social work. When it comes to professional social work, we go for certain theories of profession, certain features and necessary characteristics that makes a discipline profession, and this is how we talk about body of knowledge and practice and licensing and code of ethics and associations and professional monopoly and like that. And on the other side, we have another jargon, another term, that is voluntary social work, whereby we accept those people as social workers who are not educated in the field of social work, who are not trained, who are not the part of any professional organization, but we allow them to be called as voluntary social workers, and this phenomenon is called voluntary social work. Here a question arises that where we have social work as a profession, there we have many other professions like profession of law, profession of medicine, profession of engineering. And in those professions, we never find that there is any concept of voluntary doctor, any voluntary lawyer, any voluntary engineer. They are always professionals. A doctor has to be a professional, an engineer has to be a professional, a lawyer has to be a professional. This is why we never come across these kind of things like voluntary doctor. Well, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, even a social worker, they all can volunteer their services, they all can volunteer their time for some of the situations, for some of the reasons, in some of the situations. That is volunteerism. That is of course not volunteer medicine or volunteer engineering or volunteer law. So this is a misnomer. It's a very common, popular, prevalent mistake that we commit, and resultantly we allow others to take our identity who are not indeed social workers. Well, they may be called volunteers, they may be called philanthropists, they may be called social service providers, they may be called altruists, and this phenomena may be referred as altruism. Social work is an independent profession with independent body of knowledge, with its code of ethics, with its professional associations, licensing, certification. Then one becomes a social worker and practices social work. So I personally feel that this is in fact a very popular misnomer. If we go for the literature that has been produced, international literature, I mean the literature that is being produced by the West, by European countries, by American authors, by Australians, by Canadians, they never go for this kind of distinction. They write about social work as a profession, and then they simply write about volunteerism. And volunteering your service is totally a different thing. Where a social worker is working as a professional, in some situations, for any of the reason, he or she can volunteer his or her services for some of the times, but in fact he is a professional, she is a professional, and qualifies all the necessary requirements to be a professional. So my point is that in Pakistan, social work profession is still in making, though we have come a long way ahead over the last 70 years or 65 years. Several attempts have been made, but still there is a lot more work that we need to do to make social work a full-fledged, a certified, a licensed profession where it fulfills all the necessary requirements to be a profession. But it doesn't mean that we allow non-social workers to be a social worker by adding the word volunteer or voluntary with social work. So here we are responsible that we must protect the identity of our discipline. We must protect the professional monopoly of our discipline, and all the social workers where they are struggling for the professionalization, for the indigenization of social work in Pakistan, they must think on these lines that there is nothing like voluntary social work. Those who are giving social services, they may be called social service providers. Again, they may be called volunteers. They are philanthropists. They are altruists, or any other term can be made popular for them. But professional social work or social work, they all contain same meaning. Social work always means professional social work, as law always means professional law practice, as medicine always means professional medicine practice, as engineering always means professional engineering practices. So we don't have, as we don't have any volunteer engineer, any volunteer lawyer. So let's try to change this concept, this widespread misconcept that is creating confusion among the learners, among social work educators and social work practitioners and other people who fail to understand the significance and recognition of social work as a profession. So again, this is my request to all stakeholders and to all senior social work leadership in Pakistan, that let's try to protect the identity of our profession, and let's accelerate our efforts to professionalize social work, to indigenize social work in Pakistan. Thank you so much.